Hello and welcome, everyone. Hello, all our all our Borgers, all our community members. Welcome, Anthony. Welcome, Danny. How are you doing today?
Hey, Alex. Hey, community. So much like big heart love and stuff and green love. It's beautiful. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. It's going to be an amazing time.
And I love that this is actually not synced, people. We did not all just have a call 5 minutes before this and agree to do a matching lineup.
We look like we're in a boys' band. I don't know who's who, though.
Yeah, who would it be?
Back, it's back, all right. No, that was a better one. Which one was Robbie Williams?
Please, community members, take that piece out and make a team of it and tag me on Twitter because I need to retweet that. It's going to be a wonderful little piece of joy for me. We got a lot to dive into today. We got some great big news. We also we getting closer and closer to wrapping out a nearly 4 week long tournament. Thank you everybody that has participated. We have some amazing news that we teased a bit about last time we were all here. Today, people are going to get some more news. But before we give them everything, we got to take it back, right? We got to set the stage. We got to start the journey from the beginning. So SwissBorg has actually been around since 2017. I think there's a lot of hardcore community members viewing this, but for possibly new people, SwissBorg did its ICO back in 2017, and back then we raised $52 million, if my memory serves me right. And can we say that SwissBorg is one of the few survivors from the ICO season of 2017? And can we maybe dive into a little bit why that could be? What makes SwissBorg so unique, and why is it one of the few survivors that has made it 5+ years in the crypto space? I'm going to pass it to you, Anthony.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, it's been an amazing ride. I think the swag was not that cool. I think that's one of the things we improve on as well across the years. But yeah, I mean, 5 years and 6 years, to be honest, because 5 years is the ICO anniversary, but it took time, right, to get there. So the first time we talked about SwissBorg and the idea of SwissBorg is actually 6 years now, and it flies. And every day I wake up and I feel like, oh, that's my first day at the office, and that's funny, and it tells how early we are, right? How much we still need to impact and do for the industry to be where it deserves to be. But yeah, it's we're lucky. I think part of the of life is you can commit to your goal and do as much as you can, but as well there is a need for a little help. It's not only about you, it's about meeting people, amazing people, growing the team, growing the culture. I think most of the time we overestimate or we overprice ideas. Execution, love, and commitment is from far what is the essence of success, in my opinion. So yeah, I graduated from this 2017, 2018 ICO time, and very few survivor to this day. I think last time I was checking stats, and there is 1,000, there was 10,000 project. And when you look at the top 200 to 300 today, there is a handful of projects that have survived, like maybe 10, 20 of them. And that's the reality of very early startup. There is very little that are going to be successful. If you're lucky now to invest in those ones, you are going to be very successful. But reality is, yeah, it's not easy. It takes a lot to succeed. So very happy to be here. Again, today we are going to discuss about the next chapter. It's only the beginning. And yeah, happy to be with you guys.
And I gotta ask, because I know that both of you were at the ICO event just last week, because I saw some of the dedicated Borgers actually snap some pictures, and I saw both of you in the background. How was it? Sadly, I couldn't make it, but yeah, you guys were there. You got to meet the community and participate. What was the vibe like?
To be honest, Alex, they're all just asking where you are.
Oh, okay. I have a hard time believing that, but thank you so much for the ego boost, I guess.
It was remarkable, wasn't it, Anthony? The amount of people that were actually there. I was surprised myself. It's the first time that I was at one of the bigger events, and it was such a pleasure. You know, the energy around. There was great food, great drinks. We had a lovely presentation, and then the meet and greet afterwards with everybody. It was really, really nice. And I was again so surprised by the amount of people because it was such a short notice as well, and it just showcased how strong the community actually is. So it was wonderful to be there, and thanks everybody that was there on that day.
Yeah, always very surprised to see how many people love SwissBorg and how much they commit their time. And I think this event as well was a good example of what we've managed to create, which is, I guess, a very authentic community that comes as they are, right? And you see such a diverse spectrum of people. But I love who they are. They are very simple people. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do is you don't need to force yourself to be special, because most of the people that believe they are special, they're not. They are encouraged to believe it to be better manipulated. And that's what we're trying to convey as a message is you don't need to be special to take back the control of your life, and your wealth is part of it. And again, I couldn't say it more and more and more. It's very difficult because you have to extract yourself from the noise, but investment and finance is the greatest tool that we have to collaborate at large scale. The goal is not to make money with money, it's to create, manifest all together a future. And that's the beauty of it. And I think the people, the core community connect to this message because, to be honest, to follow that much an investment app is boring, right? At the end. So it must be something else. It must be a message, a connection, a mission. And that's what the beauty of what crypto and I think investment can create is a connection beyond the graph. And that's what drives the community. And that's why I witness makes me happy. Beautiful.
And we got to say, it's quite a fun community. And I'm going to be honest, Anthony, I don't know how late you guys were up, but the morning meeting we had the day after, you looked a little bit exhausted. But it was an early morning meeting. But so I think it's also quite unique that we have an incredibly activated, engaged, and fun community to be a part of, which is, to my experience, quite unique. But okay, we need to cover some ground here. So back in 2017, the ICO. In the last 6 months, and I think all our community members can adhere to this, there's been a lot of stuff happening. Usually you say that it's in the bear times that stuff gets built, the tough gets going, and at SwissBorg, the builders has come out. In the last 6 months, we released Earn, our new passive income product line, which I think has a bit over $300 million in it. We released Thematic, which is our crypto bundles that enables people to essentially invest and track the entire Web3 movement. With rebalancing, reallocation, soon also rewards, if I can say that. If not, oh, this is live. Okay, yeah, now it's said, so it's out there. But there's even more upgrades coming to Thematic, making it even more powerful. I think there's close to 5 million in Thematics. Price alerts, top up by cards. Now you can top up within seconds any day of the week, so that you can adapt to the market trends and jump in. Share a bit, sort of, what it might be hard to pick. What would be one of your favorite product features that we have listed in the last 6 months? Why? How is it that SwissBorg is able to produce so much, even in times like these, when we see mass layoffs, especially in big tech companies? Yet SwissBorg manages to push out 6 major product feature. How is that possible?
Okay, I'll start, Danny, and then we're very curious of your feedback on that. But I like to compare sometimes SwissBorg as a football team. And what will make you successful is to coach the team to let the team play together. So you have to have great individual, but they need to play together. And as well, you need to train the new generation. And that's why all these very famous football clubs, such as Manchester United or Arsenal or even French club, they have training camp for youth that are very important to part of the success. So we have one of the youth here that's done amazing growth. And I guess when you have people that are the individual level, at the team level, they grow so much, they bring as well to the community as a ripple effect. And this year, we invest a lot at the beginning of the year, and now we try, we're starting to collect the outcome of this training. And that's part of the adventure that makes the adventure very special. When it's come to the product that I love the most is I look at the product that are necessary, and I look at the product that get us closer to the mission. And the mission we have is to help people to manage their wealth better in the easiest manner possible, in the more concrete and direct manner as possible, that they can focus as well to what matters the most, which is interacting maybe more with the project or saving time to spend time with the family. So with that regard, I love thematic. To me, that's if you don't know what to buy, but you want to get exposed, just buy a piece of thematic, a little bit every day, every month, every week, because for a fact in 10 years it's going to be there. And we had an amazing growth at the crypto ecosystem level in the past 2 years, but the number of projects that are going to be left after this massive pump and dump is going to be very little. So reality is being a successful investor in crypto is hard. It's very difficult. But we're building every day. There is hands full of projects, a number of projects that are building every day, and they are just getting better and better and better and better. And we help you to get closer to them. But again, you can focus to what matters the most, which is discovering them, discover who you are, and thematic are the perfect bridge to that reality. And I love it. And it's only the start. We have so much that we work on. Over to you, Danny.
I don't think there's much to add after this one. I think what about earn thematics in particular, what I think is we've achieved to do this year is, up until earn, the products we brought forward were ones that were really cool, but they really existed, right? And we were a bit playing catch up for different reasons. We had issues with the custodianship last year and had to migrate to Fireblocks, etc., as you guys probably know. And that obviously cost a lot of time. But now with earn, and especially with thematics, we were able to go from a catch-up role to one that really innovates. Because name another product like thematics out there, it just really doesn't exist. There are ETF-like products out there, but none of them have a purpose like thematics do. They'll give you the top 10 coins. I can do that myself. There's nothing special about that. Thematic really starts telling a story. It brings something so much deeper to a product than just conglomerating a few coins together. And I mean, you said for my family, especially so my parents, my uncle, the first product they buy is thematics because that's the one they feel most comfortable with. They're like, oh wow, I don't need to do the whole research myself. I can, trust it in place into one product, and that's being reallocated, remanaged for me. It's a beautiful thing. And as Anthony said, thematics is just the beginning. Perhaps, and out of our own personal bias, and maybe that will do a transition, the one I'm most excited about is naturally that one that is yet to come, the one that's going to launch tomorrow. That one's, I'm sure we're going to talk about it a bit later, but that is one that completely revolutionizes the way the industry works in that specific aspect. The one of putting forward early projects and assets. So the Launchpad is one that I'm particularly excited about, but I won't get too much detail now. I'll let you do the transition, Alex.
I was about to say we're going to get into it. But first, I would actually say I love thematic for all the reasons you guys listed it. One of my personal favorites, being a bit more of a risk positive person, I think is earn, and I think it's quite unique. I'm not going to be. I'm happy now that I've found SwissBorg, because in the beginning I used actually Nexo and a couple of others, but I think earn to me is so close to what SwissBorg is at its core. Right, the fact that you can see the protocol that is generating you that yield, the fact that we have analysis actually writing on a risk report on the counterparty risk, on the liquidation risk, on the flash loan risk, on all these quite in-depth things that I didn't know that much about when I got started in crypto. But because SwissBorg is providing that educational journey, it's not just a black box. Like if you invest with Nexo, I was about to say Celsius, but they're no longer around. But if you invest in Nexo, you have no idea. And I saw a tweet the other day, how are they still generating 10% when the actual underlying protocols that we can assume that they use don't do anywhere close to that? And I think it's so true to the SwissBorg ethos of democratizing wealth management to enable people to learn on their journey of exploration as they're finding their investment persona, to really to take a step extra and educate people and share this quite valuable, important information, and also do it in such a user-friendly way. I think is I'm blown away by it, and it's one of the first things I show my other DeFi people in the space. But now,
just Alex, to finish on that, because you touch base on the point that is extremely, I think, important for SwissBorg is I've seen a lot of people talking about education in the space, and to me, if you come to a bunch of people and you say, here's a video or here's an article that you have to read and educate yourself, and we create this nice educational piece and read it, it's not true education. To me, education is to create healthy habits for your user. So as you mentioned, with Earn, we give you the full transparency that if one day you decide to use another services, at least you can ask, why am I receiving the same services? I think, when my girlfriend, for example, she say, I only want to date. I mean, she's not dating anymore, of course, but she will say, I will only date people, guys that are gentlemen. If you go to a restaurant together, I want, him before he sit down, right? I want him to take the chair and make it to me. And why? Because I've seen my parent, I've seen my dad being gentleman with my mother. So why will I have not the same standard? And I think that's true education is when you have a model, when you forge habits, positive habits, and you help the people to integrate this. And as a result, that's true education. Education do not come only from talk. It's about putting that in action and motion. And I think that's one of the things that SwissBorg is doing more than anyone else in the space.
Definitely. Like to learn something, you need the theoretical, but you also need the practical. You need to do it at the end of the day. Otherwise, great ideologies, but what change do they really accomplish? Now, Danny, we're going to jump into the next subject. As you all know, our beloved Borgers, we are rolling out a new feature. We are rolling out the Launchpad, the big, the Launchpad with a big L. Why is it? Tell us a little bit, Danny, being the product manager behind it. How is Launchpad a bit different from other Launchpad? Will we only focus on ICOs? Can you give us sort of why is this Launchpad quite unique?
Absolutely. I think you already hinted towards it. It's very nicely done. I think the Launchpads today we see in the industry, they are focused, we've had the big ICO hype in 2017, from which SwissBorg came about as well. And as Anthony said at the beginning, 99.9% or so of those projects are now dead. Currently, blockchain launchpads focus on their own native ecosystem and launch ICOs. From native projects, they create tokens and they try to remunerate themselves that way. But the true potential of blockchain and underlying the bigger distributed ledger technology is only achieved once you manage to look beyond the tip of your nose, beyond ICOs. Blockchain and Web3 technology as a general, through the characteristics of transparency, immutability, all those key components, they managed to bring a far better technology to also the real world than what we have today in current databases, right? So the true potential of blockchain is only achieved or will only be achieved once you manage to merge both worlds. Once you manage to merge the real world with Web3 and try and derive value from this collision almost, right? And that's what this Launchpad is special for. We are proving it now with the very first product we're offering, which is our own equity. But equity already, as you think about it, tell me another Launchpad out there that provides equity. It's completely unheard of, right? You have the ability through the Web3 technology and all the simplicity, everything it brings forward to you, to all of a sudden, away from the bureaucracy and all the old ways of doing that would have taken you forever, be exposed and take opportunity of new asset types that until now you didn't have the chance to get to. And so this starts with equity. It will go towards real estate. It will go towards all different types of securities. And what the Launchpad can bring is the democratization of all this new spectrum of assets that until now were unthinkable in a Web3 environment. And if you look at the bigger mission of SwissBorg, when we say, hear it every single week at the Powerwise, we're democratizing wealth management. Well, listen, with Earn, we democratized passive income strategies. With Thematics, we're democratizing ETFs. With the Launchpad, we're democratizing, early investments in private markets. Private markets are so much bigger than the public counterparts that, in right now, let's take equity as an example, because that's the closest one that's going to come about. If I want to invest in stocks in current traditional finance, I need to wait until the IPO, because I won't get access to the early deals. Those are reserved for venture capitalists, big institutional investors, accredited investors. I, as a sole little guy in Switzerland here, it's very hard for me to get into those deals. But the truth is that the biggest returns are made at those stages. And in fact, those who got in early, well, they take the IPO when you buy as exit liquidity for them, right? That's when they dump their shares, because they would have done several multiples already on that. Obviously, there's much more risk associated to that. But in terms of potential, it's the same thing. It's the real money is made at those early stages. And right now, we are, with full transparency again, democratizing access to that. And that, to me, is an incredible milestone for the entire industry. And it's very humbling, and I'm very proud to be able to say that SwissBorg is taking this first step. And we hope to have incredible opportunities through the Launchpad with other projects, other companies, all kinds of different asset types. And that will really start doing those bridges between real assets, Web3, us, and different companies, and all grow together. So the potential of it is humongous, and what it does is just beautiful.
Fabulous. Anthony, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it all, Danny, and I think for us, the important part of what the Launchpad is achieving, not necessarily now, but with time, is to create a counterpower as well. Most of the financial, when you look at the FTX, it's not only, again, the collapse of a bad CEO and a mismanagement, it's the collapse as well and distrust into the established players that have invested massively into this ecosystem. And as a result as well, they create, they govern the geometry of our ecosystem. This ecosystem that we've built, that we spend so much time on, that when I look at the people on Twitter, when I look at the people tonight, right, they are the true owners of this ecosystem. But again, as in the traditional world, it's other people that do not care that much, that do not spend the same amount of time and love, that will decide ultimately how the ecosystem should look like. And to me, that's a pity. So collectively, with this Launchpad, not only we get at the individual level good investment opportunity, but we create a counterpower that one day project can choose. Do I want to get funded by a community that will use my game, that will use my services, that will understand, provide me with very, very insightful feedback and love and all the stuff that are very important, that are actually the biggest asset of any company? Or do I want to do another round with A16Z because it's simple, and because this guy get the chance to talk with big guy and invest money? And to me, it's the pity of the system as well, and we have a collective responsibility. So I couldn't say that more. When you take personal decision, of course, your personal being and success and etc. come first. But we need to be conscious as well of what does it create as an individual, as a collective reality. And to me, that's the biggest achievement that the Launchpad can create, is a counterpower, an alternative reality where the power to decide what this landscape of crypto is and blockchain is will be getting back to the people that deserve it the most. And that's the community. So yeah, it's a fantastic piece of our, I think, entire mission and spectrum at SwissBorg. Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And if I could add one more thing to that, actually. So we got, Danny, you highlighted sort of the multi-asset aspect of the Launchpad. It's going to be more than an ICO. It's going to be multiple different assets. Anthony, you highlight the community, the ecosystem behind it that can really make it thrive, right? The community participants, the different ecosystem partners that SwissBorg has that can actually determine in many cases the success of an outcome like this. What I would also like to highlight is actually at the early stage and at the amount that I think our Launchpad is going to make a real difference is if you look at Binance, if you look at Coinlist, if you look at DAOmaker or any sort of the other widely adapted Launchpads, look at how much allocation actually went in their public sales. I did this research just the other day to have this in the back of my head, and it's quite astonishing. If you look at Binance, they're doing 60 billion in trading volume, right? If you were to guess how much has gone through their Launchpad, what do you think people would say? Maybe like 4 billion? Maybe 400 million? It's not even $50 million, right? So how much access did they really provide? Or are they using these Launchpad as a way to just pump certain tokens or to sort of as an acquisition tool? And I think that's also where SwissBorg Launchpad is going to be extremely different. It's actually providing you this access to this early assets class and not as a 0.5% or 0.2% of the allocation. But when I looked at what I'm going to bridge to now, the first project on the Launchpad, our allocation was 5 times bigger than the closest competitor that I could find in terms of how much we're actually going to be able to offer our community, which brings us to the first project that we're launching on the Launchpad, which I think a lot of people might know this. But Danny, take it away. Break the news.
All right, guys. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. That's the deadline. I mean, this one is so exciting. Personally, I feel, before you go on stage, you always feel that little nerve-wracking feeling, and your fingers tingle. And I feel the same way here today. We've put so much hard work into this, and the entire team, Anthony and myself, and we're speaking here, but the team in the background, they're still working on finalizing last touches as it is. And wow, what a milestone! So tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at 5 p.m., you will have access for the very first time to the capital of SwissBorg via equity shares. It's the Series A. It's our Series A fundraiser.
It's huge. Sorry.
Huge. For those who don't know how private markets work, most of the time what you have in private equities, that you start with a seed round or pre-seed round, and then as the company grows, you can consider the ICO, and now we reached at a Series A. And the Series A is when the company's already been established, but there's so much more room to grow. And that's really where we are right now. We are five years in. And within 5 years, we want to be at the very top. That's what the aim is, right? And Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but really this is our ambition. And the reason we're doing this now is because we see the moment to actually get there, to get to the top now. I've read an article a few days ago about, can't remember who wrote about us, but they were like, SwissBorg finds themselves in an unexpected competitive vacuum. And it's true. At the beginning of the year, we had so many more worries about, this competitor is doing that, and now we see that, being the Swiss turtle, doing things properly and taking our time, we are now in the best possible position to actually consolidate this super fragmented market with people being scared, don't know who to turn themselves to, who to trust. And here we come with ultimate transparency, everything on DeFi Llama and on Nansen. You can see everything that we do and how we hold our assets. And we now have the chance to grow and to really get to the top of the game and become really this European flagship. You have really strong companies in Asia, you have strong competitors in America, but if you look at Europe, really there's not much going on, and we need that European centerpiece that brings forward these old European values. The whole beginning of modern democracy, where you consider the Greeks, or even before, Europe has such a historic importance, and we certainly want to see that coming in the new age, the digital age of Web3 as well. I'm speaking grand terms, but we as SwissBorg, we think we have the right values to do that, and Series A is the opportunity to achieve it. And as Anthony said before, and I'll close with this, the ability to potentially get to the very top, backed by your own community who believes in the same purpose, who believes in the same long-term vision than you, compared to being backed by VC companies that look at next quarter's returns, it's all the difference in the world, right? And I think to maintain integrity and bring forward a project with true purpose, such as SwissBorg, there's only one way, and it's the community. And this is what the Series A is achieving. And I think it's a dream come true for all of us. So Anthony, I don't know what if you want to add something to this, but I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, when we in 2019, when we released for the first time the app, after working very hard to have the OMS ready, the smart engine ready, I remember we had this meeting with a bank in Switzerland, and one of the guys was really using the app intensively. I was saying, I love your app so much. I love what you guys have achieved. And how can we work together, right? I want to provide the same level of services for my clients. And what I like so much about this meeting is the guy, in essence, was saying, it's the first time that I see an advanced system that is actually not available in the institutional world, but is available to the average Joe. I can connect to the app. It's free to create an account, and I can start to trade with 10 euros. And I get the services that at the bank I wouldn't get. If I want to have Bitcoin, it's going to be a fucking nightmare just to have a price. While you guys look for the best price, no matter my size, no matter who I am in the world, and it makes me so proud. I felt like, fuck, for once, right? Because that's the beauty of crypto. They're not an investment product, first of all, right? They can be invested, but they are projects that are designed by human, by community for community. There is no crypto that are engineered by bank, or maybe Ripple is one of them. But is it a true crypto? Who knows? But and that's the beauty. And I felt like so good when I heard about that. And here again, with the Launchpad, tomorrow, you can invest no matter who you are. You can come up, register is going to be very simple to use. For 100 euros, you can become a shareholder. At the level of opportunity, a Series A that usually is reserved for the elite investor, right? And it's very important we have no one at the capital. The people that are owning the share today are the people that create this company or contribute massively into the success of this company. So no other people that love the company, that have sweat so much, that give their heart and their life to the company. And now we give that to the community, that in few years from now, I can sit down with banks and say, fuck, you guys are leader in Europe. We didn't have the opportunity to invest. How can we get into the capital? And I feel in myself, I give the opportunity to my guys first. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. We have the luxury to say, we don't want the money, guys, because we have an amazing community that we know are going to commit. And actually, we don't have to ask for much. So, yeah. In a nutshell, that's to me is what we want to achieve with the Launchpad, as we say before, and we start with our own internal source, and that's beautiful.
It really is. But Danny and Anthony, it wouldn't be SwissBorg unless we had some small little things planned. I saw something circulating on an internal document. Will there be? We can't call them, but will there be some perks for people that might take action on this, that want to become partners, that want to acquire a share of SwissBorg and become more than community members? Who should I pass this to? I feel like a hot ball moving forward.
It's funny for everybody watching us now. Anthony and I, minutes before we went live, we're like, should we say it? Should we not? Anthony went like, no, you decide. Whatever you feel is right. I'm gonna decide whilst I'll make up the answer here a little bit, because I want to get to one point before. Just for, I think, concretely speaking, so people know what to expect tomorrow as well, because there's been a lot of questions, and then we get to the perks. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. you'll be able to go onto the website, which is SwissBorg/Launchpad/Series A. And you'll have all the information in the world that you could wish for there, from financials, legal documents, protection, all the intricacies, FAQs, what the structure is, what you're actually buying, at what price points, what's the valuation, all of the key important stuff will be there. And right now, we're still not able to do it because for legal reasons, it's a security, there's a lot of regulation going on, but tomorrow at 5 p.m., please make sure to go on the website. All the information will be there. From there on forward, I just want to reiterate one more thing. You need to have the latest version of the app to actually participate. It's very important. We had to do updates to include this new product in there. It's not easy done, So please make sure to update. If you haven't done it, go now to the App Store, to your Google Store, and update your app. Make sure you have KYC level 2. Legally, you need to have KYC level 2. The legislators require it, which is proof of address. It's very easily done. Onto the app, you can do it. You go into your profile, KYC 2, proof of address, done. And then you can either participate in CHF, but because we are a crypto company and SwissBorg does things a bit more intricate, you can also participate in crypto, which is in USDC. So you only, if you don't have USDC or CHF, you only need to have to do one exchange at most to get there. So it's super convenient. You'll always be able to participate, and now is the goal. Now to your answer, to your question, Alex. Yes, there will be perks. Should we say what the first one is? Because the first one, I'm so excited about the first one. But I don't want to get away. This is about Series A, Now we're going to talk about perks, and people are going to be like, "Oh my God, this is going to happen." Anthony, what do you think?
We can see. Let's leave it for a while. We can let it simmer. And then if you want to know about possible perks, you got to stay to the end of this.
Yeah. I mean, to me, we can cultivate the mystery until there is only 24 hours to go. But yeah, part of the, that our mission is to make investments fun, fair, and community-centric, but fun. And I guess part of it was to say, as we start this conversation, it's been 5 years since the ICO time. We had a very good ride, very amazing ride, and we want to celebrate all together. So it is, as Danny is saying, before anything else, it's an investment. It's another commitment for at least 5 years, right? So it's a bit like we renew the contract. Like maybe Danny at the end of the year is going to see me and say, did I do good? And I will answer and say, should we do it again for the next 3 years? And we are going to have this commitment. And it's the same with the Serie A, and that's the most important message here. Is it's a commitment for another few years, but we want to make it fun and exciting, and we have perks. So every day, every sequence, people that participate will get access to something extremely special.
Wait, pause, Anthony. Hold on to that because I feel like you're gonna give it away. So we're gonna maybe hint to these perks at the end of this video. But thank you so much for that beautiful positioning, Anthony. Maybe some one question that I saw here. Important. If I have CHSB, why should I buy equity? And I think this could be something that some of the users are asking themselves. And I just want to highlight here: if you already got a bunch of CHSB, you're in a good position. Like, it's good. You're already a massive contributor to the ecosystem. You're one of the major reasons why we're here today. You will continue to benefit as SwissBorg continues to push product and features. CHSB will still be at the core of our ecosystem. But Anthony, maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, that's the most important point. Is if you have CHSB, you're already in a good place. You've been part of this first generation that helped the company to be where it is today. Without you, that wouldn't then be possible. So you've done the hard job, right? You have already done the heavy lift, right? So that's fine, because the CHSB will benefit immensely for what's going on right now. So you don't have to worry too much. Now, you have to understand that these two products are complementary. So we were using this analogy before to explain as well internally. It's like I possess this iPhone, and with this iPhone, I can achieve so much already. I can work, I can call my mom, I can watch video. There is a bunch of things that I can do. So if I buy an iPad, I'm not necessarily getting so much more, but it's an addition. It's complementary. It can open new perspective, and it plays well together, actually, right? And I can use that in different circumstances. So to me, it comes down as well to what do you stand with your money, with your investment? And it's a nice addition. It comes very well if you have money. And as we mentioned, there is only 100, the minimum commitment is 100 CHF. So to me, even if it becomes symbolic because you already have a massive position in CHSB, invest the minimum, just to be part of the train and enjoy the ride. The shares are helping as well a new generation of investors to get in to the train. So you don't have to feel the pressure. It's a very good addition if you already have the CHSB. And you will discover more about what the shares are actually offering tomorrow. It's a nice addition. They play all together, and if you possess SHSB, it's going to be a good win. That's the most important. Is the raising money with the shares will help just to boost the value of the SHSB overall.
I just want to add here before I pass it over to Daniel. Of course, non-financial advice here. Shout out to Victor from my legal department. We're not telling you to invest anything. Anything you invest are always at risk. You know the disclaimers. Thank you so much for that, Anthony. Daniel, anything to add to that?
Well, as Anthony said, I think the biggest point to bring forward is how these two assets, CHSB and shares, are complementary. Really, shares bring you a whole bunch of different utilities and exposure. With shares, I think symbolically you are at the same table as Anthony and Sarah with those shares. And yesterday I shared a diagram, or actually an organigram is the technical word for it, of how the SwissBorg will look like once the community has invested in Series A. And really what happens is that you become one of the top shareholders of SBorg, which is the underlying holding company for all the other companies of in the SwissBorg ecosystem. And at the moment, the only shareholders are, the C-level executives such as Anthony and Cyrus and Bastien and Nicolas and Christophe as well, I think. And so you then become into this same round table. You get voting rights. You get right to potential dividends if we ever go to that. You get to shareholder information. We need to legally disclose a bunch of financials. There's a lot of. It really feels like a closed circle, and shares really bring that extra layer. So as Anthony said, I think CHSB it's been a groundstone that we've built on for the last 5 years, and now shares really bring that extra strength and extra power to CHSB, and those who be able to possess both, well, they have full exposure to the entire SwissBorg ecosystem. Shares give you that exposure to IPs, to all the different licenses we have, a capital or assets, team. So it's really a completely different investment than CHSB, and the complementarity is really, I think, the biggest and most important point that I just wanted to highlight on top of what Anthony said. And yeah, it's just such a cool thing to be able to do it. And obviously the returns, again, not financial advice, but the returns are very different to CHSB as well, right? So I don't know if that's Anthony to discuss, but if their plan is ever to go to an IPO or whatever might be a big, that this is how you get your money from shares. It's a very exciting journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm also very proud to, if I say a couple of things, my beloved father is actually going to join on the Launchpad because he understands what a share is. Token, some of these concepts are newer to him and maybe to the generation that he, to my mind, represents. So he's very happy to be a part of the company that his beloved son now works for. And then I also want to highlight on something that me and Anthony have spent a couple of Sundays discussing, and it's really that with your investments, you have the ability to make the future that you believe in come true. Right? If you want to call it manifestation, if you want to call it actionable investing or value investing or growth investing, but at the core of it, it comes down to if you put your money where your heart, with your motivation, where your intent lies, that future is a lot more likely to come true. And to me, I'm a hardcore believer at decentralization of nations, of wealth, of being able to decentralize power to create more autonomy for people. What could be more synergy? What could be more aligned with that than actually owning, just as you said, like you would have the same shares as Anthony, as Cyrus, as our co-founders and founders. Like that's incredible. You won't have that opportunity on Facebook or Apple or Google or app like that. That won't happen. That was a good 22 years ago, if even. That won't happen again. Now you have an opportunity to, at the highest level, participate in owning equity in one of the quickest growing, biggest crypto players in Europe that not only do this to get the most AUM in the quickest time period possible, but that through the winter that we have seen over the last half year has stood the test of time, that hasn't used leverage, that uses segregated accounts, that don't do any CFI lending, that like don't have disrupted morals, to say the like. This is a company with true values, with a strong community, and it's an ability for you to own equity at the same level as our co-founders. To me, that is extremely exciting and interesting. Before we get to perks, we have a couple of more things to announce. We are planning a major roadshow. So shout out to Mario, who is incredible in organizing these. So in Paris tomorrow, I don't have the times, but I'm quite sure that we will post on these events and locations on social media. But the 13th of December, we're in Paris. On the 14th of December, we're in Brussels. On the 15th of December, we're in Tallinn. I still think that there are some available seats in Tallinn. So if you're in Tallinn, if you're in Lithuania, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Poland, any region close to it, and want to meet the most amazing people in crypto, get over to Tallinn. It's a wonderful country, beautiful city, amazing spas and amazing culture. London on the 19th of December, Geneva on the London 19th of December, Zurich on the 20th, Geneva on the 21st, and Lyon on the 22nd. I think those are all the dates. Anthony, Daniel, did I miss anything?
Sounds like you're very keen of Tallinn. It's a great start. Maybe we need to go there. Anthony, next.
It's a beautiful place. Okay, now that we have cleared all of that up, and thank you once again, Mario. You're incredible at organizing these, and thank you to our beloved community members that shows up at these events. Don't miss them. I think they're going to be an incredible experience and opportunity. Now, with the little time that we have left, Anthony, sorry, I cut you off before. Now I roll out the red carpet. I give you the microphone. I give you the mic. You have the crown on your head. You have a couple of minutes to just share whatever you want to share, and I won't cut you off. But Benny, I hope you're standing by to be ready to cut the live feed if needed, because we cannot say too much, but you're allowed to say, I'm not the one that allows people to say stuff. So Anthony, I guess this is in your hand. Take it over.
And the perk is you will have to come back tomorrow. 5. Yes, guys, we want to cultivate a little bit of mystery, but I can tell you one thing, you're not going to be disappointed. That's for sure.
Yes.
Not anything more. Not something that can electrify the audience. If you get the most referrals, you might be... No, we're leaving it there. Okay.
There's so many. Which one should be... Because Anthony and I think about the same one, but there's different ones.
We got to give people one. I feel like if you stick around for 47, nearly 48 minutes to see our... you guys have beautiful faces, but I look like I haven't slept in 3 weeks. We need to give them something. We need to...
Listen, it's Anthony paying for it, so I'll let him make the discussion, the decision.
It's for sure something that you guys have been asking on and on and on and on and on, and it's coming. And it's tomorrow. Only less than 24 hours to go, and you guys will know.
So you didn't want to mention the Tesla for the highest referral then?
Oh! I was waiting. Hat goes off. Daniel, hat is off. Hat is off. Okay, so that's at least one. It was not the one that I thought that Anthony would drop, but you heard it from Daniel. Get on those referrals, because the person with the most referrals wins a freaking Tesla. That's not cap. Like that's actually happening.
SwissBorg's Tesla. That's most important to mention. Yeah. Swag, a unique swag.
Yeah, it's bragging rights for sure. I feel like we've covered everything. Is there anything else that you guys want to share with our beloved community? First of all, sorry, I just need to say thank you to our beloved community for standing with us for we're going into 4 weeks of tournaments. We have been highest ranked on Twitter twice, once with Trader Joe, once for SwissBorg's 7 layers. We've had over 70 million impressions, so I think we've reached a good amount of people. I'm sorry, Anthony, but I think you have given away $15, $16, maybe $17,000. I lost count a little bit, but the report is going to come to your desk in soon time. But thank you so much. I know that Thematic has a bunch of new users. I know that a bunch of you have tried out the top up by card. Thank you so much for everybody that has given us feedback over this time. Thank you so much for our core community members that continues to support us, that continues to hype us up, that continues to help new Borgers and welcome them into the community. We're not exaggerating when we're saying like SwissBorg wouldn't be anything without our community. We're so honored and so grateful for your participation. And once again, we're adding a new sprint to the tournament. So for the next 10 days, I'm sorry to say, Anthony, you're giving away another $10,000. So head to Crew 3, join the tournaments if you haven't already. Make sure you've downloaded or updated your app. Make sure you've completed KYC too. Make sure that you have some CHF or USDC ready in your wallet. 5 p.m. tomorrow. All the details will be available on the Launchpad. That's it for me. Anthony, Daniel, take it if you have any last words.
Yeah, we'll be live with more information. I know you guys will, you have a ton of questions, and we'll be live with you. Big shout out to the OG. There's so many to name, but Phil, Julianas, Romain, Ibrahim, Alex. I mean, all these guys have been following us so much. So big shout out to them. And yeah, we'll be tuning in the coming days a lot with you guys, and we'll be online.
But I think maybe to be concretely speaking, tomorrow for the launch, there will be a launch party live on Twitter around 5 p.m. when we're going live. So there'll be more communication about this over the next few hours. At that point, the information will be live on the website, so we will be able to talk with much more detail about stuff. If there's questions, we might be able to answer them live on the Twitter Spaces. Be there as well. Looking forward to it. And yeah, this is it. The calm before the storm. We've got less than 24 hours to go. And wow, a new milestone for SwissBorg, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're ending the year on a big bang. With that, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you, everybody that is behind the scenes making this work. I can honestly say that the achievements and the accomplishment over the last couple of weeks, month, is the result of dozens, if not hundreds of people's really, really hard work, relentless efforts, undying motivation and will. To quote Shane, SwissBorg is a behemoth coming forward, and we're bringing you the Launchpad of tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a good night.
Thanks, guys.